G'day, let me show you what's going on here. So have a look at this. I've got tackle literally laying around everywhere. I've got lures with hooks on them, like right in front of the chair where people are standing. I've got snap baits down in my footwell here in the cabin. I've got boxes with bloody stick baits and poppers and all sorts of stuff going on in here, just sitting on a seat. Obviously every time I go to sea, all of this is getting wrapped around and falling on the floor down here. I have to keep picking it up. I've got a whole box up here, up there in that shelf. Got a whole box full of stuff in here. What have I got? Snap baits. I've got soft plastics. I've got jig heads. I've got so much stuff. I've got another little box here full of soft plastics, bags of bait junkies, mad eye prawns, bloody squidgies, you name it. I've got this tackle box here with trays in it, full of lures. This one's full of lures. The bottom of this bag, I'll turn the light on, hang on. I know, power's off. Have a look at the bottom of this bag. There's like shit going on everywhere. Not only that, is I've got these trays in here in the seats. This one here, it's full of lures. Look, all tangled up. So, I don't know what to do. I've got all this tackle. Do I need this much tackle? Probably not. But when you need it, you need it. So it's always good to have it with you. A lot of it is double up. I must admit, I was at the boat show on the weekend and I bought a couple of more Halco, couple more stick baits. These ones here are pretty cool. The Sly Dog Heavy. They're actually heavier than the standard Sly Dog. These ones are 40 grams. So they got a bit more longer cast to them. I was pretty keen. I had to get some of those when I saw them. Very hard to get hold of. I never see them in any of the tackle shops, but they had them at the boat shop, so I got them. Oh yeah, so there is a standard Sly Dog is 28 grams, and this heavy one is 40 grams. So that's actually quite a difference in weight between the two. So, like I say, a lot of them are double ups. That's another heavy I bought on the weekend. Got some diver stick baits, Saltiga. Another popper that I couldn't resist buying on the weekend at the boat show. What else have I got? Whoop, Rapala stick bait that just about ended up in my fingers there. That's actually a really cool looking stick bait. None of these have been swum yet. That's brand new, still in the box. CRD shiver sticks. And here you go. Here's exactly the problem here. Things fall out of the box, they get hooked in the seat. You go to get them when you're in a hurry, you rip it out, you rip the seat. So what's the solution? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I need to sort of get some kind of storage system going in here. What that looks like, I'm not so sure. These boxes here are cool, but I find a lot of the lures that you're using at the time, they kind of get tangled up in here, so you can't really put too many in here. I have got too many in here. I'm not gonna, it's pretty obvious now I've got too many in here. A lot of these, like these ones here, for example, these ones I picked up in Bali, like little stick baits I picked up in Bali. Possibly they'll be okay, but I kind of doubt the strength of them. I really don't think they're going to be strong enough to deal with kingfish. So things like that need to actually come out of here. Here's another one as well. These ones, they need to just come out, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to use those. That's probably another one there. Probably not going to use them. It was a good idea at the time. I'm in Bali, I see them, they were cheap, a couple of bucks each, so I grabbed them. But am I actually going to use them? Probably not. Also, let me show you these as well, if I can get this untangled. So these here, I bought these on eBay a while ago. I'll put it on here and see if I can get a picture of it. I bought these on eBay a while ago and I talked about them on one of my videos. I used them, they cast really well. The kings really like them, but it wasn't until recently I hooked a good king on it and brought it in, and it wasn't until, and then I lost the king at the side of the boat, and it wasn't until I brought it in I realised that the whole tail of the lure had snapped off here, and they're not through wide, so the whole tail of the lure snapped off. The king ended up swimming off with the hook still in its mouth, and I lost the fish and broke the lure. So from now on, I won't be using these for kingfish, as much as I thought they were pretty cool. And they look the goods, and they actually catch, and they cast really well. you can't have your lures break. So it's probably a good lesson. Don't buy cheap lures online because they fail when you least want them to. From now on, I'll be sticking to your more well-known brands. Possibly I'm just going to be sticking to the Helco because they're made in WA. They're made just down the road in Fremantle. Local product. I know they're tough. I know they're up to the local conditions, and I know they can handle the bigger fish. So things like that, your Opalas, your Daiwa lures, you know they've got a heritage and they're going to last. So what am I going to do with all this stuff? I don't know. Righto, our sponsors at Boomer Anchors are going to give us one of these anchors to give away. So stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll give you all the details, and you could possibly win one of these awesome bits of gear from Boomer Anchors. So I bought a couple more of these tubs from Bunnings. They weren't too expensive. So I feel like all these snap baits can probably just go stacked in here. And they're sort of contained. They're not going to get wet. They're not going to get covered in salt spray. Nothing inside this cabin gets wet anyway. It's pretty waterproof in here. Nothing's really getting wet inside here anyway. So I know that's pretty much all right. So there's a tub for my snap baits. At least that's kind of that sorted. I'll sort them out in a minute. I've got another tub here. Another tub here, which I'll use for probably all these stick baits that are still in packets here. Again, these are all still in packets, so I've got a heap of them, like you saw before. I've got a heap of them in that box out there that are all been ripped out of their packets. There's a heap of them laying around on the floor here with hooks exposed. So these are probably just backup ones for later on. I'm probably not going to use them for a while. They can just stay in there. Sort of cleans that up a little bit. So check this one out here. These are a handmade stick bait. A friend of mine, Sam, makes these. Hand carves them from wood, hand paints them. These are 3 wide. I know these are 3 wide and I know they're strong, so this one will be staying in my arsenal. They're made out of some pretty solid timber too, so they're quite heavy and they cast really well. But pretty amazing product for like a handmade thing. He just sort of knocks them up in his back shed at home, so I reckon that's pretty cool. So I'll be keeping that one in the arsenal. Here's another one too here. This is a smaller version of it. Oops, a bit tangled up with that one there. That's a smaller version right there. Pretty sweet lures old Sam knocks up there, some stick baits. So I'll stick some of those in there. This thing here is a real problem, this box here. See these, the Helco Trembler. You can't get these anymore. Helco stopped making these. Look at the hooks, these are rusty. I've had this lure, without a word of a lie, I've had this lure for over 20 years. Still goes strong, and you know what? I think I've caught a lot of kings on this lure. They just really love that rattle and the really tight shimmy they have when they swim. Helco don't make these anymore. They stopped and they make different, similar but different. But yeah, these were always really good back in the day and they're still relevant now. So as you can see, the hooks have seen better days, as have a lot of these ones in here. They're kind of all a bit shiny, all the hooks are kind of getting a little bit rusty on these. So what I'm going to do is I'll sort these out. I'll sort out what I'm using and what I'm not using, and then I'll put some new hooks on these, give them a bit of a fresh birthday. But in here, look at that, an old jig head that's, oh, it has got hooks on it. Okay, so that's still relevant. Snap bait, just things just ended up getting tangled up and you make a mess. I think just once in a while you just got to get in and bloody sort things out. So that's pretty much what my goal is today, is just to try to get in here and sort these out. This little Wonder Pilch looks alright, except those hooks look pretty shit. They look like some cheap ass hooks which probably won't stand, and probably be alright for herring and skippy or whatever, but would they stand up to a king? I probably doubt it. Again, old-fashioned Helco 55 grand slice. I reckon I've had that. Again, probably pushing 20 years I've had this for. Still relevant, still stays in my tub there. So yeah, I don't know. Something's got to be done, because I can't just have this amount of tackle just floating around in my boat and ending up all over the floor and people standing on it. It's just really not a good look. So I really don't know. If anyone's got any ideas what to do for tackle storage, let me know, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's got this amount of tackle. Again, do you need to take it all with you to sea? Probably not. I mean, I know you guys will probably see me when the kings are on and we swap from this lure to that lure to that lure, but generally it's only, you know, maybe 3 or 4 different lures that we're swapping around to. to have this much on board is probably a bit of overkill. It's probably unnecessary. And another thing here, does anyone else have this issue as well? Like you've got your trolling lures rigged up with bloody wire trace on them, ready to go, and you always want to have one rigged up, ready to go with a wire trace. But what do you do with them? They're really awkward lures to store because they're big and they've got hooks on them, and then you got a wire trace. Even worse is this one up here, because I like to run the single strand mono wire traces because I think they're less obtrusive, and then you can't get them bent and twisted. Like, look at that one now, that one's probably buggered now. Again, this one I've had for quite some amount of years. You can tell by how rusty the hooks are. I'm probably going to have to upgrade the hooks on a lot of these lures. But what do people do? How do you store things like this? How do you store lures with wire traces ready to go like that? I mean, in the heat of the moment, you don't want to have to start threading wire traces on the split rings and this and that. I know you can store the wire traces in a little piece of PVC pipe or something, but in the heat of the moment, you don't want to have to splice them on. You know, there's mackerel spearing out of the water or something, by, you know, as an example, and you don't want to have to start splicing wire traces on the split rings and hooking up. You want to just be able to tie it on and cast it, really. You know, you got to have it ready, and at least one ready in an emergency, I would think. But how do people store this? There must be ways of doing it. People, I mean, I'm sticking it out to stick it out to the universe. How do people store lures like this with wire trace on it? Because just having them stuck up the front there in that pocket is really not appropriate. And like I say, you want to get to it in a hurry, and you can't because all the hooks are stuck in my jumper or they're stuck in the bloody carpet, and you can't get it out in a hurry anyway. Bit of a pain in the ass. This stick bait here, Yozuri, I forgot I even had this. I just dug it up out the bottom of that bag a second ago. Awesome looking stick bait. It's actually got quite a bit of weight to it, so I don't know what it weighs, but this one's going on the front line. I'm going to give this one a run next time out. It's sort of very similar to the size and shape of that slide dog there, but maybe a bit slimmer in the profile. Pretty cool looking stick bait, and with the ribs it might make a sort of a bit of a vibration through the water, which would be pretty cool too. Also dug up this Yozuri popper as well while I was looking. Also pretty cool, got a bit of flash inside of there. So these sort of things will probably be staying on the front line. Obviously these stick baits are well and truly used. These hooks have got a little bit of rust on them, but I'm still saying they're okay. These ones probably just need a bit of a touch up with the file. They'll be alright. These ones need replacing. So that's my goal. If anyone's got any ideas on how to store tackle and keep it neat, please let me know. Put it down in the comments below. And there's one more issue I've been having here as well. Alright, I'm going to put, while I'm putting stuff out to the universe, I'm going to put this out as well. So the old fly rod. It's a big long wand. The downside of fly rods is they have no butt. You can't put them in a rod holder. You can't store them anywhere. And fly rods are another one of those things, when you want to use it, you just want it to be there, and you want line stripped out, and you want it ready to go. Like for me, I want to catch kingfish on it, so I want to have the line out, I want to have line stripped, I want to have it sitting somewhere ready to go at a second's notice. If king show up in the burley trail, I want to be able to just turn around, grab this and waft the fly straight out. In the past, I've stored it in this side pocket here like that, and you can see it runs up here and it falls into this little gap. 2 fly rods now, I've learnt my lesson. 2 fly rods I have snapped just by travelling with it there like that. I've left it there and it's been fine when we're fishing or whatever, but I start travelling with it and it obviously just wiggles its way around in there and gets a little bit caught. Being graphite, it doesn't like having little nicks and bangs in it. As soon as the hook a fish, bang, pop, off it goes. It's broken fly rod. So really where I want this fly rod, let's tighten that up for starters, is probably somewhere like that, which would be perfect. I could strip some line out onto the floor of the boat there. I could have the fly up on the bow somewhere like that. It would literally just be a matter of picking it up and just whoosh and straight out, and you'd be straight into the action. But I need a way of standing this in here. I have in the past taken this little fighting butt off and actually drilled a proper butt onto this fly rod here, onto another fly rod I had years ago, merely so I could keep it in a rod holder, but just because it made life so much easy. I know traditionally, oh yeah, breaking other fly rods, Scotty. I know traditionally fly rods aren't meant to have a butt because they're supposed to be free flowing when you're casting on your wrist and stuff like this. For me, I'm not really casting. At best, I'm just sort of flicking it out like that. So I might actually put a butt on this one. It would just make life so much easier. I could potentially just put a little rod holder in there to hold that, and like I said, it would be up here out of the way, and I'm ready to use at a moment's notice, and not really gonna cause any issues for anyone. Yeah, I might look at doing that. Actually, I wonder if one of those the angled sort of rod holders that you can get with the adjustable thing, and I know they've got like a socket that wraps around. I wonder if one of those would actually hold a fly rod. I might look at that. I might go and have a look in one of the tackle shops and see if I can get, I think Scott is one of the brands that make them, and they're used for sort of holding your rod, and then there's like a ring coupling that runs around. I don't know. I know what I'm talking about. People are probably going, Scotty, you're rambling, you're talking shit as usual. That's just another problem I'm gonna have to deal with. If anyone's got any ideas, I'll put it out to you guys. Please comment down below. What do you guys do with your fly rods? I know you can sort of keep it in halves and keep line stripped out and sort of stash it like that, but then again, you've got to sort of set it all up, and sure as hell in the heat of the moment, you're going to wrap fly line around things and it's going to be a pain in the ass. I really want it just sort of standing up like that and tucked up out the front there out of the way, so I can still fish out the back here, no worries. Bring the kingfish in on the poppers. If the kingfish come in, I can swing around, wrap, boom, straight into it. That's my plan anyway. I don't know, I think I've just created like about 6 different problems for myself in the last 5 minutes doing that, but anyway, sort it out. If you guys have got any ideas on storage of tackle that can help me out, please, if you've got any good ideas, let me know, put a comment down below, and I'll keep going. I'll sort this out, and then I'll get back onto you guys and show you kind of what my solutions are, but I'm sure I'm still going to have boxes full of shit everywhere in the boat. So this is Operation Tidy Up Scotty's Boat. In 2 years I've managed to fill it with shit that I don't really need, so it's time, have a mass cleaner and just consolidate. I'll get back to you all when I've sorted. Rightio, so this is what I've ended up with. Turns out that these tubs that I bought from Bunnings actually fit perfectly in here sideways. Before I had this bigger size one, which only kind of fitted in there that way, which was a little bit awkward, but these smaller size ones actually fit in like this. So I went and grabbed a heap more, and now I can stack them all in there perfectly. So this one's got soft plastics in there, all the ones that came out of this bigger one. This one's got jig heads. This one's full of jig heads and a couple of berserker plugs that I got in there. This one's got all my snap baits in there, and this one is containing all my stick baits and poppers that I have laying around. So that's a lot neater now, and they're all sort of contained, and they're under control a little bit better. I'm still not happy with this setup I've got going on here. I'm gonna have to look at that a bit later, but I did sort through this tackle box a bit and sorted it out a bit more. So I've got some smaller stick baits in here that I've been using. These are some small bib minnows, a couple of poppers. These are bibless trolling minnows, a couple of those jointed stick bait looking things that I had there from Storm. I'm going to give one of those a run. Some metal plugs in there, and just basically neatened it up. Anything that had really shitty hooks I took out. I've got a heap of lures there that I've got to change the hooks over on, and I'll get around to that. I've got to buy some hooks first. I've got to do a bit of a count on how many I'm going to need, but that's kind of thinned that out a lot, which is, it's a bit nicer and a bit easier to deal with. So that's okay like that there. This bag, I've still got to go through the bottom of this bag. I'm just not in the frame of mind for that at the moment. I'm thinking this soft plastics, of all these soft plastics I've got in here, could potentially go into one of these tubs as well, and maybe up in that side up there. Yeah, so I could potentially start putting more tubs over this side as well if I wanted to, but I kind of like this up here to store rods. I've got my lighter brim gear up here. I just fold that in half and that stays up there. It's out of the way, it's out of the water, and also my fly rod generally lays up here in this little shelf as well. A bit of spray and wash for cleaning the dash and some rags. But yeah, this is kind of convenient for storing rods in up here, so I'll probably leave that as it is, but potentially I could fit a few more tubs in there. I've only got some rags and a pair of booties up that corner, so yeah, I might eventually sort these soft plastics out as well and put them in tubs as well, and it's kind of neatened all that right up. Worked out quite well. This is the stuff that I ended up taking out. These are all sort of the cheaper sort of stick baits that I figured I'm probably never going to use. Not on kingfish anyway. They'll probably go alright on tailor, so I might use them a bit later on, fishing off the rocks or off the beach for tailor and so forth. Bit of rubbish, there's always a bit of crap that gets caught in there. In here, this was stored inside there as well, the cover for my Simrad and the cover for my GME radios and so forth. These always fell off, so I stuck them up in the cabin. This, I never really put it on, so I stuck it up in the cabin, but let's face it, I mean, I keep the boat inside a shed, it's not in the sun, it's not in the rain, so there's no real reason to have covers on them. They don't get wet or anything underneath the cover here, so these can probably just store in my shed. This little book here is actually sort of like a little log that I was keeping when I first got the boat to sort of just keep track of how many miles I was doing for the literage of fuel just to keep up. So, you know, you can see the first one, 11.4 nautical miles, 13.5 litres. The second one, 11 nautical miles to 20 litres. Geez, I must have been wringing its neck on the second one there. But I'll probably just keep that book in here for good luck, and it's always handy to be able to just write down any details or keep a bit of a log of stuff that happened, so you can remember it next year. And if the fish happen to be on, you can sort of keep track of the conditions or whatever and know. It's always good to have that. I don't really need to keep nautical miles and fuel economy because the Mercury Smart Gauge and the Simrad keep track of that anyway pretty much, so I can always get that from there anyway if I needed to. But I mean, this book doesn't take much space, I could probably just stick it in the glove box. I've cleaned up most of the mess, there's a little bit to go yet, but I'm most of the way there. Let me show you something here, look at this for stupidity. So I was outside yesterday when I was cleaning up because I brought it out in the sun so I could see. Stuck all my rods up in the rod holders here so I could walk around. Forgot they were up there, didn't I? Reversed it into the shed. Snap, snap, snap. 3 rods in a row on the roof of the shed. All three of, or not in a row, all 3 at once. So this one here lost about 1 inch off the tip. That's fixable. This one here, the same, probably 1 inch off the tip. Fixable. This one here, my good casting rod, lost, I don't know, whatever, 8 inches off the tip. That's probably not, well, it's fixable. I can put another tip on here, but I don't know whether that extra 8 inches is going to be detrimental to the casting of it. Probably it's not going to cast like it used to. I'll probably have to replace that one, but yeah, 3 rods in a row, how stupid. Anyway, it's just one of those things. I'd like to say I'll learn my lesson, but I'll probably end up doing it again some stage, so yeah, it's just one of those things, I guess. Stupidity. I wasn't impressed, let me tell you, but you know, it's happened, I'm over it now. The guys at Boomer Anchors have given me an anchor to give away. I absolutely love the thing, as you probably hear me sing its praises quite often. If you want a Boomer Anchor, I'll put a link down below. Jump on Boomer Anchor's Facebook page. Right on the latest post, you'll see my head on there, the latest post. Why do you want to win a Boomer Anchor? Tell us why you want a Boomer Anchor. If you've already bought a Boomer Anchor or you're just about to buy one and you win this prize, we will refund the price of the Boomer Anchor. So if you've already bought one, enter anyway, because we'll refund the price of the one that you've already got. So if you win, so want a Boomer Anchor, I'll put the link down below for the Boomer Anchors Facebook page. Jump on there, tell us why you want to win one. Anyway, that's probably it for this video. Big shout out to everyone that came and saw me at the boat show. I was overwhelmed with a lot of people coming over saying they like our videos and just coming over for a chat and just come and say g'day. It was really good, guys. It's that sort of feedback that makes me want to keep going with this. There's been a few times where I've considered stopping because if I'm honest, there's a lot of work involved and a lot of hours I spend editing and a lot of hours fishing, and there's a lot goes into it. But to get positive feedback like everyone coming over and saying g'day was just amazing. So thanks everyone for that. If you like the videos, stay tuned. Don't forget to comment if you've got any wondrous ideas for storing tackle or something to do with my fly rod. Please comment down below or just comment and say g'day if you want. Don't forget the Boomer Anchors competition, and I'll see you guys all in the next episode. Yo!